know y'all see the title of this video. Don't freak out. Also, don't have in your mind, oh, this is a judgy session, because actually it's not. I've had my fair share of sex before marriage. So that's how I can relate to y'all. We can talk about it. There ain't no holier than thou, because I'm very much guilty of this, okay? Now, I want to share with y'all something that I learned. Something I have been knowing for a while is that during sex we do transfer spirits with each other. We do transfer energy. That much I did know. And I also kind of knew to some degree that sex before marriage wasn't really recommended. And in my mind, I don't know, I was just thinking this whole time, like, why not though? Like, why wait until marriage? Because it's just like, that's a long ass time, first of all. And I don't know, y'all, I get to thinking about stuff that I probably shouldn't, but I got to thinking to myself, like, okay, if you wait before marriage, like, how do you know if sex with that person will be good? Or how do you know his ding dong ain't gonna be little? Or how do you know that her kuka ain't gonna be good? Like, you know, it's like we want to know what we're buying into or what we're getting into. At least that's what I was thinking, you know. It's just like, okay, we could sit here and have a good bond and stuff and talk and stuff, but like, if we're not having sex, in my mind, I'm thinking to myself, okay, well, if I wait to marry this man, what if when he pull out his pants it's like a shrimp or something that I don't really want, you know? And then we really gonna have a problem, you know? So that has always been like my thing. And also, like, I didn't want to wait that long, because I mean shit, when you're attracted to a person, you're gonna quite naturally want to have sex with them. Like, that's very normal, it's very natural. And I know we're supposed to like make the guy wait, but shit, sometimes like if you a female but you got a little nigga off and you want sex too, like, it's normal, it's healthy. But so those have always been my thoughts around sex before marriage, or at least waiting, you know, because I mean, to me, that's just been the norms. You even see the shit on movies. When two people like each other, they fuck, you know. But I watched the video with Anointed Fire, and y'all, Tiggy, please don't do that. This child is biting my doggone cord. You quit disrespecting me. But I watched Anointed Fire, and the way that she explained it, the way that she like broke it down, it made me develop like a whole new understanding of why wait until marriage. But the way that she described it, one, it was two ways. The first way that she described it was that it's been a form of witchcraft, and also the second way that she described it is in a fashion to where it's almost as if, like, what I took from it is like, basically, if a guy can't wait, it's like basically saying like, you're not, like, your presence alone is not stimulating, it's not good enough. Like, if he instantly goes for sex, or if it has to be about sex, to me that's like, okay, you're not genuinely interested in who I am as a person, or what's on my mind, what's on my heart, how I feel, what I want in life. You're just interested in, you know, busting a nut, basically, you know. But what she mentioned about witchcraft, y'all, a lot of us, we don't know. But in the sense of witchcraft, she mentioned like, okay, I don't know if y'all know too much about witchcraft. I myself have dibbled and dabbled in it. I didn't know, and even when I did know, I still didn't fully understand like why it was a bad thing, because I had good intentions with it. So I've had my fair share of witchcraft as well, so that's how I can talk to y'all about these things. I have no shame whatsoever. But so yeah, she's mentioning about it being a form of witchcraft, because it's kind of like, you know how they say the infatuation stage? Why is it called the infatuation stage? Why are your emotions so high? Why can't you get this person off your mind? Why are you feeling so crazy about them? And it's because they put it down in the bedroom. Okay? And so when that happens, it's like we're in a spell, we're in a trance. Like, It's almost as if like when the sex is good with a person, it makes them so much more attractive than they really are. It also like makes you like them way more. It like I don't know. I don't know. It's different from every person, but if we were to take sex out of the equation, what else would that person be attracted to? What else about us would stimulate that person? Is that person stimulated enough? You know, maybe he is amazing in the bedroom, but if you take sex out of the equation, what else is he amazing at? You know, how else can he woo you? You know, how else can he, you know, and vice versa, the other way around with a female. You know, if we take sex out of the equation, how else could she keep him in? How else, what else do we have to offer? And speaking of the witchcraft, what she's mentioning is that during witchcraft, there is an offering that you make. She mentioned that during sex for a woman is basically her offering up her, for some, virginity, you know, but outside of that, just offering up our womb, you know. And it's kind of like, if I offer you this, will you love me? If I offer you this, will you stay? If I offer you this, will this make you stop talking to other females or dealing with other females? It's almost as if it's a form of witchcraft, because we are making a sacrifice. We're sacrificing our bodies and our womb in hopes that we will be granted our wish, which is somebody liking us, somebody wanting us back, somebody wanting a relationship with us, or just simply just to have fun, you know, because some people maybe do have sex for fun, but that's a whole nother topic. But I like the way that she described it in the form of witchcraft, because with me dibbling and dabbling in witchcraft, it like really clicked in my mind, like, oh, that's what that is. Like, it made sense. Now, if you haven't ever dealt with witchcraft, or you don't know anybody who's ever dealt with witchcraft, that may go over your head, but I do understand and I do see how that is a form of witchcraft. Because, okay, witchcraft, okay, when I was doing it, it was to simply get insight on myself, my situation, and other people, their situations, what's going on with them. But sometimes other form of witchcraft is whenever you try to manipulate a situation, you try to manipulate a person, you try to manipulate an outcome, and sometimes it's not always bad. Once again, when I was doing witchcraft or whatever, I would basically be considered like, you would consider it white magic, what I was doing, but magic, whatever end of the spectrum, is still going against the natural, you know. But the second form of witchcraft that I was talking about to you guys, manipulation. We don't realize as females or guys, but during sex, if it's before marriage, you're manipulating that person in a way. You're manipulating their feelings. You're manipulating the outcome. Sometimes it's in hopes, I hope that he likes me back, so I'll go ahead and have sex with him. Or I hope that she just commit to me and don't try to hump no other dude, so he gives the best ding dong he has ever slang ever. You know, that is a form of witchcraft, because we're trying to manipulate how another person feels about us. We're trying to manipulate an outcome. Some people use sex as a means to gain, and that's a form of witchcraft. Because in witchcraft, well, the second form of witchcraft, once again, it is to manipulate. You're trying to get an outcome out of a person, you know, whether it's you want money from that person, so you offer it up, or you want that person to commit, so you offer it up, or maybe you want to strengthen the bond, so you offer it up, you know. But it is a form of witchcraft. And once again, with certain types of witchcraft, it can actually, not only are you manipulating that person, but it kind of like alters their brain. It alters how they see, like, it puts them in a fog, basically. That's what witchcraft is. Well, the second form, you put a fog on a person, And so that's what happens during sex. That's what the infatuation stage is, because it's a mix of magic. That's why it's you're infatuated. You're obsessed with this person. You keep thinking about them. You keep replaying when he was beating it up from the back, or when she would ride you. Like, you keep replaying this because you are under a spell. It's a spell. And a lot of people don't know that. A lot of people don't know that. I didn't know that, but we all can say that we did feel different after sex. It's one thing when you're talking to a person, but it's like after you have sex, it's like that's when everything changes. That's when your feelings start to get stronger. That's when you start to think about them more. That's when you start to visualize relationship, marriage, all that crazy shit. And it's because you're under a spell, So that's why they say that it's recommended for us to wait until marriage, or wait until it's like an actual solid commitment before sex. Because when I was in real estate, right, I learned a lot about contracts. And something I learned about contracts is that the only way a contract is valid is if that person is of age, if they are not under any form of influence, they're of a sound mind, okay? And speaking of a sound mind, once again, when we are under a magic spell, y'all, when we are infatuated, that is being considered under the influence of another individual. And a lot of times we end up with a person because we're under their spell. We end up in a marriage because we're under the spell. Shawty laid it down in the bedroom, or he laid it down in the bedroom. And so we were under a spell, and that's what made us, sometimes do crazy stuff. Stuff you don't never do. You ever do somebody, you did something you would never motherfucking do? That you're under a spell. That person has successfully put you under a spell. And so that's why we have to be careful out here, y'all. The whole world is performing witchcraft and don't even know it. You ever been with a person and you get breakup from you? You're like, I don't know why I was really with that person. I don't know why I was acting this way. I don't know why. I don't know why. I don't know why. You weren't in your right state of mind. You weren't sober-minded. We were not sober. Like that song by Beyonce and Jay-Z, Drunk in Love. That's what happens when we have sex before the commitment, before marriage, because we are under the influence of that ding dong or that kuka versus being in our sound mind. Do I really like this person's personality? Do I really like their vibe? Do I really like their energy? Do I really want to commit to this person? Or do they just got good ding dong and I done fell in love and da 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 da? Or vice versa. So that was a huge eye opener, y'all. So now anytime I think of sex, I now associate sex with a form of manipulation. That's what I associate sex with now. If there is no commitment beforehand, that's how I view sex. It's a form of manipulation, So it's power in knowledge. At first it shocks us, but it's power in knowing. I also will say, on top of the spell, we just have to be very careful with sex, y'all, because when we having sex with people, we don't know what they're carrying. And I'm not talking about diseases. I'm talking about, like, you never know what a person is carrying in their spirit. You don't know what type of depression this person is walking around with. You don't know what type of suicidal thoughts this person is walking around with. You don't know what type of badass habits or attitudes or perspectives on life or mentalities that this person is carrying until they dump that off in you. So I feel like women in particular have to be careful, but also guys as well. We just have to be careful. Each time we have sex, we're literally performing a form of witchcraft. And I can stamp and approve that as somebody who formally dibbled and dabbled in witchcraft. It's not natural. It's almost as if, like, once again, how I mentioned how I used to be in real estate. Just like, I don't know, I would compare it as a person trying to buy a house, but a woman coming up to them and giving them good cat and whispering in their ear, and then they end up buying the house. That's a form of what is that? Coercion. If y'all know the right way to say it, go ahead and comment it. But that's a form of manipulation. If he was not in his sober mind, you know, he can actually go back to the courts and actually sue her, you know. But under duress, that's another one. If a person is under duress, they're not, it would not be considered a valid contract. And a lot of times in these relationships and marriages, we are under duress. We don't realize it because, once again, we don't know no better. But knowledge is power, you know. But yeah, it's like sex is a form of manipulation. And a lot of times we get out of these relationships and marriages, we're just like, I don't know why I stayed. I don't know why I was with that person. I don't know what I saw in that person. It was a spell it was a spell. When you're in a spell, you don't think straight. You make weird decisions that you wouldn't normally make. You go after people that you normally wouldn't go after. You know, if the thing don't that good, it will have you doing stuff you don't normally do. Or if the kuka's good, you know. But it all just boils down to a form of witchcraft manipulation. And so that's why they say it's best for us to stay away from sex before marriage, so that we can actually clearly see this person for who they are. Because especially us females, if a nigga ding dong is good enough, we will put up with his disrespect. And I don't need nobody trying to comment on here trying to argue with me, because it's the truth. If a nigga ding dong good enough, we would have him let him talk crazy to us, let him put his hands on us, if the ding dong is good. And it's because we are under a spell. It's a form of witchcraft. We're not in our right state of mind, you know. But if we go into the dating game with the mentality of, I'm gonna stay sober-minded, I don't need you trying to manipulate me, I need to see you for who you are and for what you have to offer. I want to fall in love with your presence, your personality, and all of that. Let my presence be enough for you. Let my personality, the conversations that we have, let this be enough for you to marry me. This should be enough. This right here, this should be enough. And I feel like when us females get to that point to where we know our worth, and when I say we know our worth, we know that I, myself alone, my presence, what I have to talk about, what's on my mind, what's on my heart, my personality, it is thebombdiggity.com. It is enough as it is. This is enough to marry. This is enough. I don't have to give up my cat. I ain't got to suck no D. This is enough for a man to like me. This is enough to catch a man's attention. This is enough. And vice versa with a man. My presence is enough for a woman to respect me. My presence is enough for a woman to commit to me. My presence is enough. It is enough. And we have to know that. And sometimes, like in my old video that I posted, sometimes we do have to work more on our personality to make it more attractive. Because maybe we are good looking, but sometimes we don't have an attractive personality. And there is a big difference. There is a big difference. And I learned that, because something I learned about myself is that I know how to be friendly. I know how to be friendly. Okay? But at heart, I'm not really a friendly person, you know. So that's something I have to work on myself, you know. And nothing is wrong with character development or building on our personality to make our personality so attractive to where even if we was ugly, we would still get a nice or good looking woman or man based off of personality, based off of our vibe, what we have to talk about. Like, that's enough to commit to, you know. But it's our job to know that, you know. It's our job to know that. And yeah, something else that she mentioned is that there's a lot of times why a lot of relationships and marriages end, because once again, people are not in the right state of mind when they get together. you know, because once again, sex is a form of manipulation. It's a form of witchcraft. You have some type of hold over this person after sex. And so that's why these relationships and marriages, you know, they form, you know, but they form, it's like making a decision while you're drunk. And then you get sober, you realize, like, damn, I did all of that last night? Yeah, you did, you know. So, yeah. But hold on, y'all, my daughters, they upset. Okay, I'm back. But yeah, so it's our job going into the dating game, or just relationships in general, whether romantic or not, to try our best to stay sober minded, you know, because it's easy to see the good in a person after sex. That's when you start to, I don't know, it's like after that we kind of get a little bit delusional, start to see qualities that's not really there, but we want them to be, you know. But we have to try our best to remain sober minded, you know, and just know that our presence is enough. Because during sex, that's an offering, that's a transaction, you know. She's giving up kuka, he's giving up ding dong. It's a transaction. And a real relationship or marriage, it does not require an actual transaction, you know. It just requires you genuinely knowing that you love that person, and them genuinely loving you as well, enough to want to do right by you and ride it out with you the long run. That's all it takes, you know. But I feel like something that's kind of tainting and distorting our view on sex is this music, also the movies and things of that nature, because everything is about sex. Everything is about sex. And I don't think anything's wrong with sex. I love sex. Sex is beautiful. I love it. That's how my babies got here. But we just have to remember that, like, we have to remember, like, what's really going on during sex. It's not just something pleasurable. It's an actual spiritual transaction, and you're making an offering to this person, you know. And we have to stop and ask ourselves, why am I offering this to this person? You know, like, we're like, really, we have to sit and talk to ourselves and, like, really be aware, like, okay, why am I offering this up? Is it because I'm just sexually frustrated? Am I hoping in return I'll get a commitment, or hoping in return that they'll stick around? Or am I hoping in return that this will lead to more? Like, why am I offering myself to this person? Like, why am I really doing this? You know? And just really sitting with ourselves with that question, you know. Because here's the thing, and I think a lot of times people forget this, but, like, that's why sex toys were created. Like, if you just horny, like, that's why sex toys are out there, you know. And my my sisters and stuff, like, they make fun of me because I got my dildo and I be bragging about him. He thrust, he do the vibrate, he do all of that. Okay, so if it's just a matter of us being horny, sexually frustrated, that's why sex toys are out there. They even got sex machines and shit. Like, if I had the money, I promise y'all I would have a whole motherfucking robot in here, okay, laying it down and cooking for me afterwards. But yeah, we just have to, you know, if it's just because we're horny, that's why sex toys are there. Because sex is something that's, we just have to remember that we're opening a portal, you know. It's about like how I am with my tarot cards, which I got out of it. I got out of it. But with my cards, they're not just cards. It's not just like, oh, okay, yeah, read for this person. Like, no, I'm picking up this person's energy. I'm picking up their spirit. I'm picking up their thoughts. I'm picking up how they feel. Same thing with sex. You know, it's the same exact thing with sex. Only difference is during sex it feel good, you know. But yeah, we just have to stop and ask ourselves. Now, if you already married, that's something completely different. But I will say, if you had sex before you got into your marriage, you might be thinking to yourself, why did I choose my partner? You was under the influence of that ding dong or that kuka, okay? But I mean, there have been some stories out there about people who started out as fuck buddies and they ended up married, had kids, committed till death do them part. And you know, honestly, that's a question that I do have, you know, because something that she was mentioning was that if it's God will for you to be with a person, you don't have to give it up. You don't have to have sex. That's once again a form of witchcraft. You get with that person sober minded. You make up in your mind and they make up in their mind, I want to be with this person. Sex is not in the equation. We get married and then we start performing magic together and shit. But that's a question that I do have. Like, how do some relationships actually work out? You know, like, I guess it would really take a level of acceptance and honesty and unconditional love, because I've actually been in that situation to where, like, I was questioning why I was with somebody. Like, I had an expectation, and if that person fell short, I still would think to myself, like, oh well, I still love you though. So like, I feel like in a way, if it's two people in that case scenario to where they're both like, that just made me think about somebody that's drunk but they still know what they're doing, you know. Because I'm one of those people, like, I can drink but I'm still able to drive. I'm looking out for other people. Like, I'm one of those people when I drink, unless I drink too much, of course. But yeah, that's the question I do have. Because some people, real life, do start out as fuck buddies, and then after a while they develop a bond, and then they realize, like, oh wow, you are pretty motherfucking cool, and then they just ride it out together, you know. And I feel like in a way maybe those people are, like, it is God sent, it is God will, it's just they started out the wrong way. But if, like, both people are willing to, when the rose glasses are taken off, if both people actually get to know each other and learn to see the beauty in each other and learn to work with those flaws, because once again, during sex it's a form of witchcraft, so we kind of view this person as perfect. We see no flaws in this person, so that honestly lets us know that we're under a form of magic, witchcraft. But yeah, when the blindfolds is off and we see this person for who they are, and we realize, like, no, you're not perfect, and they look at us and realize like, oh no, she's not perfect either, but I still like you though. I still see you as a wonderful person. I still want to ride this out with you, you know. Although we put each other underneath a spell, we both had each other drunk and all, we both sobered up and realized, like, oh wow, you actually are a pretty fucking cool person, dude. So yeah, sometimes it works out like that, and I'll tell you, it take a strong level of motherfucking God for a fuck buddy to turn into something long term that you can actually marry. It take a lot of God. But yeah, we just have to make sure that we're sober minded about everything. Making sure that we're not out here trying to manipulate anybody. Make sure ain't nobody trying to manipulate us. And know that our presence, our personality, our conversations, our playfulness, all of that, our vibe, it's enough. This is enough to marry. And if we can't be honest and say that, that's where we have to work on ourselves, okay? Learn how to carry on a deep conversation. Work on our social skills. Work on you know, things of that nature. Me personally, I gotta work on being more warm, because, like, once again, I told y'all I know how to be friendly, but like at heart, I don't really fuck with these bitches. I don't really fuck with these niggas, okay? So I have to work on that side of me that's kind of like detached and like cold and aloof, okay? So Yeah, we just have to work on ourselves and build ourselves up so much to where we know that we are the bombdiggity.com without the sex. To where we can honestly say that I can pull a man or a woman without sex. I can do this without sex. I can get married without sex. I don't have to persuade him. I don't have to put it down in the bedroom. I don't have to do any of that. I just have to be myself, you know. And once we can get to that point to where we're so satisfied and content with who we are, you know, that's when it's best for us to go into the dating game, when we're that sure of ourselves, you know. And yeah. Oh, and something else that she mentioned is if a person is saying that they can't wait until marriage or whatever, that's showing a form of lack of discipline. And if a person is not disciplined in their desires, them temptations, they're very likely to cheat. Okay, so we just kind of have to pay attention to the red flags, pay attention to how things go in the beginning. That'll really help us to sort out some things. Well, yeah, just taking sex out of the equation, it gives you and that other person an opportunity to find other reasons to be together. Because if the sex is good and that's the reason why you're together, well, after a while the sex, you know, after a while you doing the same thing repetitively, it's gonna grow out of style. Somebody's gonna get bored and gonna look elsewhere. So we have to make sure whatever that person is drawn to about us, whatever they commit to, it needs to be something that's us. It needs to be something that they can't get out there. And if they do get it out there, they're gonna have a hard fucking time looking for it. So yeah, y'all, that's something that I learned. I wanted to share it with y'all. Once again, this is just an eye-opening session, a session of revelation. It's something for us all to learn, but I would just say don't beat yourself up. And this ain't on no religious shit. Everybody know I'm not a part of any fucking religion. I don't do that at all. I don't do that. But I do strongly believe in spirit ties. I do strongly believe in soul ties. And when I tell you, if you link up with the wrong motherfucker, you know, it's like you pick up whatever they battling with, you pick it up. So if you, let's say for instance, if you're a really healthy person, you're happy and shit like that, but you go to have sex with a person who they're depressed, they're suicidal, they fucking hate life and everybody else around them, you're going to start to pick up those characteristics. So that's why we have to take time to get to know a person before allowing them to put them fucking demons in us. Or vice versa. Get to know what spirit a person is in first. Like, if we have sex, I want to know what am I picking up from you. But for me to know that, I'd rather just see it in you instead of us experimenting with magic and we don't know what the fuck we really doing. We think we're just having sex, but no, this is a whole magic spell. This is a spell. This is witchcraft. Okay? And so I need to know what ingredients, like what are you made of? What potion do you have? Will it mix well with my potion? Okay? Will our juices, will our potions mix well and make beautiful magic, or will it create a disease? Will it create a mental illness? Will it create suicidal thoughts? Will it create self-hate? What is our portions going to create? But I'm not trying to wait until the last minute, have sex with you, then find out. Like, I want to know now. Who are you? What spirit are you carrying? What demons are you carrying? And things of that nature before I put this in my body. Okay? It's kind of like, imagine if you at a club. You know, you gon', I don't know, everybody's a little different. Some people, somebody handing them something, they just throw that shit back. But me personally, I'm just like, what the fuck is this? Where did you get it from? Why didn't I see you mix this? Pour this out. Come back here. Let me see you pour this. Okay? So that's kind of like the same mentality that we have to carry with sex. Whatever that person embodies, we are going to embody. So before we introduce that ingredient into ourselves, into our spirit, we have to get to know it, you know. Instead of finding out firsthand and then picking up their characteristics and their demons and their problems and their traumas, and, you know, just, we can save ourselves a lot of heartache and stress and diseases by getting to know people, you know. But just remaining sober-minded, you know, being in a relationship with a person because their personality is just that beautiful or that handsome. Their vibe is just that attractive. Their company is just that peaceful and that securing and that loving. That alone makes you want to marry that person. Not because he know how to smack it, flip it, rub it down, lick it, all of that. No, shawty. No, that's not a good contract. In real estate, that would be considered an invalid contract. If you got married to that person, it would be invalid in real estate because you were under duress. You were under the influence of dick or under the influence of coochie. Okay, so we gotta make sure that we out here signing valid contracts of a sound mind, of a right age, also 18. And real estate, to sign a contract, you have to be 18. So yeah. But once again, the things that I talk about with y'all is things I've already experienced. Me personally, I lost my virginity when I was 13. Okay, so, and if I could go back and I was this age, would I have slept with that same dude? I'll keep that answer to myself. But when we're younger, we do things because we are not of a sound age, we're not of a sound mind, and we're just doing things out of instinct, out of habit, sometimes out of peer pressure. You know, thinking, oh, if I have sex with him, he'll like me, or I just want to see what it feels like. That was the case for me anyway, because really all my life I was attracted to women. I still love women, but I wouldn't date another one. But I just wanted to experiment. You know, I just wanted to see, like, what does it feel like? What's all the hype? Because I saw all the bitches in my school, they was crazy about niggas, but I was crazy about the bitches. So I'm like, what is it with these niggas that y'all like so much? Okay? And for me, it hurt. And I was just like, that's what these bitches is crazy over? To be in pain? So that's why I had lost my virginity at that age. I honestly was very curious, and I just wanted to know, like, what does this feel like? Like, why are these bitches so crazy? Like, all the girls in my school was just always talking about niggas. And I was just like, okay, they not really all that cute or whatever. So I just wanted to see what it felt like. So, you know, if I knew at the time what sex was, what happens in the process of sex, if I would have known certain things, I would have made different decisions. So, yeah, of age, of a sound mind, and all of that. That's all that I have though, y'all. I wanted to share this topic with y'all. I hope this was an eye-opener, and yeah, we'll just continue to learn together. Knowledge is power, but just know that you are thebombdiggity.com as you are. Like, minus your coochie, you are enough to marry. Or minus your ding-dong, you are enough for her to respect. You know, I think sometimes men think that they have to, like, throw down in the bedroom for a woman to respect them. But once again, you just have to know that you, yourself, you are enough to be respected. Not your ding-dong. Okay? But yeah, we just gotta make sure not to fall for the ding-dong, not to fall for the kuka. Because once that high falls off, y'all, that's when reality kicks in and you realize, like, damn. I don't remember you being like this. I don't think this is what the fuck I signed up for, you know? And we really start to tell ourselves, like, oh, he changed, or oh, she changed. Like, no, everything was always that way. It's just we didn't give it enough time, or we were once again under the influence, you know? So Yeah. But this has been teaching me a lot. But anybody, if you're thinking to yourself like, oh, well, what if I get horny? That's why sex toys is out there. And if we are saying that, oh, I just want to feel it with an actual person, we have to realize, like, why? You know, because with a sex toy, you can get an orgasm, and with a person, you can get an orgasm. So it's like, why do we prefer to have this orgasm with a person? Is it really an orgasm that we're trying to reach with a person? Or are we trying to reach a level of understanding with a person? Are we trying to get close to a person? Are we trying to form a bond with a person? Are we trying, like, what are we really trying to do during this sexual transaction? What are we trying to do? Because if you just want to bust a nut, you can do that in the bathroom by yourself. So it's just like, why do we choose to bust this nut with a person? What do we truly want? Because if it was just an orgasm, we just go masturbate. But it's obviously something deeper that we're wanting, but we have to make sure we get that from the right place and not try to manipulate a situation, not try to manipulate a person into giving us what we are actually craving, which a lot of times is just that closeness with another person. But a lot of people don't want to admit that, you know, they're just wanting the warmth of another person beside you, you know. But niggas don't like to admit that. And independent females like myself don't like to admit that either, because we strong, we independent, and we don't show emotion. I'm just playing. But yeah, so we just have to be honest with ourselves, okay? I just realized once again, sex is a magic potion, okay? You know how in the movies, the witches, she gets her ingredients and she mixes them in a bowl. Same shit during sex. You got your juices and you got his juices, and you mix that shit together and it creates a magic potion. And the question is, what are we creating here? What are me and you creating? Is it a bunch of confusion? Is it drama? Is it like, what is this that we are creating together? What are we creating? You know? And also, we create soul contracts when we have sex with a person. It's a contract that we're signing when we have sex. But because we don't get to know this person, we are blindly signing a contract. Blindly. We don't know what we're signing up for. We just know it feels good. But what are we really getting into? What type of soul contract did we just seal the deal on with this person? Every time we have sex, we put our signature beside a little contract for this person. And something I learned in real estate is, if you're going to do business with a person, one, you need to trust their ass. And they need to have a history. They need to have a reputation of being a good business partner. They need to have a history of good business deals. You know? You go into business with a person who had a reputation of going bankrupt in all their fucking businesses. What's likely to happen if they sign a contract with you? Same thing during sex. We need to know these people's history. You know, we need to know people's history, get to know people. What am I signing up for? What type of business partner are you? Are you trustworthy? Are you reliable? Do you keep your word? You know? So, yeah, that's what I wanted to share with you guys. That was something I watched off a video. I think I shared it on my community board. But it was a message to empaths, prophets, prophetic people by Anointed Fire. And that was a glimpse that stuck out to me out of like the whole 2 or 1 hour long video. That's normally how I am whenever I watch something. It's always that one piece that sticks out to me. And that was what stuck out to me. Sex being a form of witchcraft. And the way she explained it, it shit blew my fucking socks off, and I was not even wearing socks. Like, it blew my mind. You know, when we have sex, we are performing a ritual. We are offering ourselves to a person, and if it's not in marriage, it's a form of manipulation. Because if we're really thinking ourselves, oh, I'm just horny, I just want to have sex, you know, is that the truth, or is that something that we tell ourselves to make ourselves feel better about the decision that we're making? What do we really want from those people? You know, what do we really want? Because there's always an intent. Whether we realize it or not, behind every sexual urge, there is an intention. There's an intention. Every emotion is an intention. If I get sad, there's an intention behind it. It's probably I have the intention to confront something that's bothering me. I have the intention to grieve or heal from something. If I'm pissed off, there's an intention behind that. My intention is to put a motherfucker in their place, or to straighten something out, or to put my foot down and my boundaries down. Same thing when we get horny. What is my intention behind this feeling? What am I trying to do? And why does it have to involve another person? Because if I'm really just horny and just trying to bust a nut, I can go in the bathroom and do that. Why do I have to involve another person? You see? But that's all that I have, y'all. I love y'all so much. I pray that this was as big as an eye-opener for y'all as it was me. Once again, that shit blew my motherfucking socks off. And I don't even wear socks for real like that. I'm a sandals type of girl, okay? But it blew my fucking socks off. But, yeah, I hope that this gave y'all some type of revelation. I pray that this changed your perspective on things. I pray that this was an eye-opener for you guys as to like why certain relationship marriages didn't work out, why you fell for the wrong person, how you overlook red flags. When we drunk, we don't really be seeing shit. It's hard to see them red lights and green lights when you drunk as shit. It's hard to see them. And if you do see them, shit, it's hard to coordinate with your brain. Alright, step on the brakes when you drunk as hell. Sex is a form of witchcraft. It's a form of manipulation. We are under a spell. You know? That's why they say sex is basically for people who are married. You've already committed to who they truly are. You've already committed to who they are and what they have to offer, which is their personality, their presence, and their goodness. Just them, themselves, their brain, their mind, how they function, how they love. That's enough. So you got with them for you have a solid foundation with this person. You got to know them. Then y'all can mix y'all magic together and shit, because you know who you're doing business with. You trust the chemicals that they're putting in your portion. You trust them because you know what they're made of, you know. But sex before marriage, that's a spell. It's a type of spell with the intent to get something, you know. And if a person commits to us after the sex, it's likely a drunk decision that they made, or a drunk decision that we made. But after a while, that high, it wears off. Them drugs, they wear off. The alcohol, it gets out your system after a while. And you start to look around, like, where the fuck am I? Who are you? You know, we all been there, done that. Ain't no shame in it. You know? But I'll go ahead and let you guys go. I love y'all so much. And I pray that you took something very valuable from here. Let me know what you guys think. Come to me, kisses. Y'all have a good rest of y'all's day. Until next time, toodles.